Engineering the local spacetime metric is primarily constrained by thermodynamic limits. Any attempt to warp a standard four-dimensional manifold generates massive, localized shifts in entropy. In a traditional pseudo-Riemannian universe, this thermal release instantly vaporizes the vessel and its surroundings. Reaching the energy densities required for propulsion without immediate incineration requires the mathematical synthesis of geometric unity and refractive vacuum gravity. This framework treats the observable four-dimensional universe as a holographic boundary screen, a limited projection of a much larger underlying system. The observer's is a 14-dimensional bulk manifold, providing extra degrees of freedom. These 10 hidden dimensions act as a thermodynamic heat sink. The chimeric bundle siphons entropy away from our 4D slice and into the geometric fibers of the bulk. Establishing this thermal relief valve is only the first step. The engineering challenge is building a physical engine capable of opening the bridge to that bulk. Pumping energy into the hidden dimensions requires us to manipulate the vacuum's refractive index. This index is a direct physical measure of the volume of the fibers within the bulk. Shrinking or expanding this volume is what allows entropy to flow between dimensions. The dilaton field acts as the bridge, coupling to the electromagnetic trace anomaly, allowing magnetic fields to modulate fiber volume. To prevent a Schwinger limit breakdown, magnetic energy density must vastly exceed electric energy density in the active zone. Standard magnetic architectures like solenoids cannot generate the specific geometric frustration required to activate this dilaton bridge. Opening the vacuum to the heat sink requires a microsingularity in magnetic field intensity, a specific spatial gradient defined as B.B. Forcing the vacuum into this state shifts the problem from theoretical physics into the realm of brutal, macroscopic mechanical engineering. The Magnetic Amplification and Direction Assembly, or MADA, is the hardware designed to generate that singularity. The MADA array uses a 5-axis architecture to compress magnetic flux. Arranging modules on the X, Y, and Z axes forces magnetic poles into absolute south-south opposition at a central point. This creates flux frustration, directing compressed lines of force into targeted high-permeability laminations. This topology is a hierarchical extension of legacy ring magnet patents used for magnetic beam amplification. The required gradient develops where this frustrated flux is forced across 100-micron gaps, creating the microsingularities needed to pump the vacuum dilaton. Operating in this regime triggers a catastrophic internal pressure state, Regime 1 reciprocal Maxwell stress. Maintaining a 50 Tesla projection against opposing poles generates a repulsive mechanical force of 1,000 megapascals, roughly 10,000 atmospheres of pressure. Standard neodymium magnets cannot survive this environment. The stress causes immediate domain wall collapse and physical shattering of the magnet. Without a new class of magnetic materials capable of resisting this 1,000 megapascal crush, the MADA Core remains a theoretical suicide engine. Surviving this pressure requires a two-tier material strategy, specifically engineered for the GU-RVG framework. Tier 1 is a rare earth-free iron phosphide alloy, optimized for global commercial deployment. This core shell microstructure allows the alloy to resist demagnetization. The blue hexagonal cores are single-domain Fe2P crystals, aligned to a specific uniaxial anisotropy. They are encased in manganese and aluminum-rich pinning shells that mechanically prevent domain walls from reversing, even under 10,000 atmospheres of stress. While Tier 1 provides high coercivity, the Slater-Pauling rule caps its saturation at 2.45 Tesla, necessitating a higher performance solution for military-grade burst operations. Tier 2 is the Healey-Fay MADA architecture, a chirally doped Thon M12 type exchange spring nano-composite. This material is engineered at the atomic level to combine nitrogenated hard phases with a soft iron-cobalt backbone. To preserve this delicate nitrogenated structure, the core must be manufactured monolithically, using specialized magnetic field-assisted additive manufacturing. This nanostructuring allows Tier 2 to bypass the Slater-Pauling ceiling, reaching 2.7 Tesla saturation magnetization. The internal forces are so extreme that the alloy must be encased in a high-yield titanium or Inconel 718 exoskeleton to prevent a mechanical burst. These metallurgical achievements provide the only physical substrate capable of safely triggering the topological phase transition of the vacuum. Once energized, the MADA core holds the magnetic frustration against the 1000 megapascal stress, forcing absolute pole opposition. As the flux bridges the microgaps, it successfully spikes the spatial singularity required by the dilaton bridge. At this threshold, the dielectric permittivity and magnetic permeability of the local vacuum begin to modulate, opening the entropy flow into the bulk. This extraction of usable mechanical work is formalized in the master equation of levitation. The dilaton term identifies the specific scalar coupling that bridges our boundary to the holographic bulk. The gradient term confirms that this force is a result of the extreme spatial focusing achieved by the MADA topology. Integrating these parameters over the active volume of the core yields the net propulsive force. This macroscopic state is vacuum buoyancy, a repulsive gravity effect created by a localized region of negative vacuum pressure. The craft is literally pushed away from its own regions of extreme magnetic energy density, achieving silent, frictionless ascent. The recursive topologies of the MADA core and the atomic precision of Healey-Fay MADA have successfully translated the 14-dimensional geometry of the observers into a functional aerospace propulsion system.
Welcome back to The Explainer. Let's jump right in. Last time, we laid the groundwork for how these advanced drones get their juice. Today, we're stepping into the dark, heavy metal reality of metric engineering. We're going to look at exactly how we manipulate gravity and engineer vacuum buoyancy. So we're moving past the theoretical math and diving straight into the physical, industrial hardware that makes warping spacetime possible. Without completely destroying the ship in the process. Here's the blueprint for today's Explainer. First, the thermodynamic heatsink. Then we'll look at the MADA core, followed by the catastrophic 1000 megapascals problem, and finally we'll wrap up with vacuum buoyancy. All right, Section 1, the thermodynamic heatsink. In Part 1, we established that these advanced drones run on limitless compact fusion reactors, but that limitless power creates a fatal physics paradox. To put it simply, modifying the spacetime metric to create a propulsive gradient, something like an Alcubierre warp bubble, requires massive, unprecedented shifts in entropy. If you try to pull off that kind of metric deformation in standard three-dimensional space, the thermal release is absolute. You will literally incinerate the craft and everything around it instantly. You can't just vent this kind of heat through traditional exhaust pipes. We need a totally different kind of thermodynamic exhaust system. And that is exactly why the geometric unity refractive vacuum gravity, or GURVG synthesis, is just absolutely crucial here. This framework proves we don't just live in a boring old four-dimensional space-time. We're actually on a holographic boundary screen of a massive 14-dimensional manifold called the observers. The math dictates that these 10 extra unseen transverse dimensions function as a macroscopic thermodynamic heatsink. Think of it like a giant, invisible, multi-dimensional chimney. When the hardware pumps the vacuum with intense magnetic gradients, it mathematically siphons that immense, lethal entropy right off our physical plane, dumping it safely into those hitting dimensions. It is a completely mind-bending solution to a truly catastrophic problem. Okay, moving on to Section 2, the MADA core. So the big question is, how do we actually access those dimensions and manipulate gravity from our 3D space? You can't just spray fusion energy into the vacuum. It has to be precisely channeled through a macroscopic geometric reactor. This is the magnetic amplification and direction assembly, or MADA. The foundational building block for this technology actually stems from early topological precursors, like Lockheed Martin's magnetic beam amplification apparatus. We're talking axially stacked ring magnet geometry, with all the poles converging on a central frustration zone. The stark, geometric reality of a modern MADA array is just fascinating. The core operates by forcing high permeability magnetic rings into absolute pole opposition. Just imagine trying to force two repelling fridge magnets together with your bare hands, but scaled up to industrial, catastrophic levels. We are talking about violently forcing south-facing south or north-facing north poles together. The natural physics of magnets dictates that they desperately want to repel or flip, but this mechanical assembly utterly denies them that option. It creates a highly frustrated topological defect. Here is the exact three-step sequence of how this setup extracts actual work from the vacuum. First, we force that magnetic flux into absolute pole opposition. Second, we violently drive that combined frustrated flux across microscopic 10 to 100 micrometer dielectric gaps located inside the laminated walls of a surrounding magnetic circuit. And third, this intense geometric flux concentration produces an extreme spatial singularity in the magnetic field intensity. The magnetic energy density vastly exceeds the electric energy density here, and that is what allows us to start dynamically modulating the scalar field of the vacuum itself. Which brings us to section 3, the 1000 megapascal problem. All of this intense magnetic manipulation creates an absolutely brutal engineering bottleneck. Because here is the harsh reality. You simply cannot build a MADA Core out of standard commercial magnets. The reciprocal Maxwell stress generated by pushing these massive magnetic fields into absolute opposition reaches roughly 1,000 megapascals. To put that into perspective, that is equivalent to the crushing pressure of 10,000 atmospheres. If you tried to use standard neodymium magnets for this, no way. They would either instantly undergo avalanche demagnetization, basically forgetting how to be magnets, or they'd just violently fly apart and shatter into dust under the sheer mechanical burst force. To survive this dark industrial crucible, aerospace engineers had to turn to bleeding-edge, heavy metal material science. They utilize submicron core shell iron phosphide alloys, manufactured via a technique called spark plasma sintering. Basically, these hexagonal magnetic cores are separated by a tiny 30 to 50 nanometer non-magnetic shell. This acts as a physical wall, pinning the magnetic domains in place so they physically cannot cascade and reverse even under 10,000 atmospheres of pressure. So the industry developed a two-tier solution to beat this materials bottleneck. Tier 1 uses that iron phosphide core shell structure we just talked about. It's free of rare earth metals, it's relatively cheap to mass produce, and it's built for global commercial deployment. But Tier 2? That is where things get truly sci-fi. For classified military and intelligence platforms, they use the Healey-Fay MADA architecture. This is a chirally doped nano-composite manufactured through localized magnetic field-assisted 3D printing. This incredible process actually transcends the theoretical Slater-Pauling barrier, allowing the core to sustain extreme magnetic field saturation, up to 2.7 Tesla, without losing an ounce of integrity. It's a staggering feat of metallurgy for sure. All right, our final section, vacuum buoyancy. Once the MADA Core is built and successfully survived that immense internal pressure, we reach the real climax of this explainer. When that spatial singularity forms, the extreme magnetic gradients actually alter the local vacuum's refractive index. See, the physical vacuum isn't just an empty void, it acts as an active, refractive fluid. By modulating it, the ambient space around the craft physically expands into a glowing, isolated metric bubble. The craft essentially isolates itself in its own engineered pocket of spacetime. And this leads us to the ultimate payoff, governed by the master equation of levitation. By creating this metric bubble, the craft achieves macroscopic levitation through a principle literally called vacuum buoyancy. Just like a submarine controls its buoyancy to rise or sink in the dense fluid of the ocean, the MADA Core controls the refractive index of spacetime to physically push the ship away from regions of highest magnetic energy density. The result? Frictionless, perfectly silent flight. No jet fuel, no exhaust, zero aerodynamic drag. So let's quickly summarize the whole shebang. We start by safely dumping the lethal heat of metric deformation into the higher 14 dimensions of the observers. We utilize the MADA Core to generate intense spatial magnetic singularities. We survive the crushing 10,000 atmospheres of internal magnetic pressure using highly advanced two-tier heavy metal nano-composites. This triggers the master equation of levitation, altering the vacuum's refractive index to inflate a metric bubble. And finally, the craft achieves true vacuum buoyancy. It completely rewrites our understanding of aerospace engineering. It leaves us with a staggering thought to end on today. If human engineering can mathematically siphon heat into unseen dimensions and physically force materials to withstand 1,000 megapascals just to ride the buoyancy of the quantum vacuum, well, what other rules of the universe are we about to rewrite? If the vacuum itself is just a refractive fluid waiting to be manipulated, the sky is no longer the limit. It's literally just a medium. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you in the next one.